And where to go? Welcome to the Writer's Life, a place where you get the sight, sound, smells, taste of my particular writer's life, where you get the absolute truth and nothing but the truth of my writer's life. Checking my phone. Like I had to check my phone right there, right? Subscribe if you haven't already. Punch the like button, tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on one single exciting video. It's Monday. I missed the weekend because I had to bring out Tarantulas at 30,000 Feet. Catch that book if you can. It's already like number 9 on the hot new bestseller list for pulp fiction, I think, or hard-boiled fiction, or both. Both, I think. And it's priced to sell for a few days so that I can keep it on those lists. You know the deal. And the same thing with The Blackmailer. That's doing well. Doing particularly well, actually. And again, that's priced to sell just so I can keep it on the list, on the Amazon lists, so that more people see it, and the more exposure, the more people that are going to buy it. See, I tell the truth. That's why we do these things. Couple of rainy days, very rainy fallish days. So I'm kind of stuck inside a little bit. Although I did run this morning and yesterday morning. Well, I run every day, but I caught it just when it wasn't raining. It was perfect. Now I want to go out for a walk as soon as this is done, and I hope the rain has stopped a little bit by then. And I'm already looking at like the mountain cameras for where I ski, and so for that first snowfall. But I think we got a couple months until that happens. I get anxious, especially because I haven't gone anywhere, because of all this crap I've been dealing with. But I saw my doctor this morning. Everything's going great. My recovery is great. You know what's due to? Or you know what the reason for that is? Exercise. He said it. He's like, excellent. Keep exercising. Keep doing what you're doing. So I can't argue with that. Right? So many people just hang out on their couch and throw a pillow under their head and just watch TV. That's their life. I don't even, well, that's kind of a cop out when you say you don't own a TV. I used to take pride in saying, I don't own a TV. But I have my computer and I stream stuff, whatever. But I don't have a living room with a couch. Well, I do have a couch in there, but we don't use it. It's all weights and a heavy bag and deadlift platform, flat bench, incline bench. It's a gym. That's what you do in my living room. We even have scales so you can weigh yourself and stuff. Pretty fancy. Pretty fancy. All right, so this video, real quick, because I know how busy you are, is I'm going to call it Hypocritical Vince. Hypocritical Vince. Now, why do I say that? Because I think in my last video last week, I was kind of like, well, there's one guy who I've known online through social media for years, just signed up for 6 books with a publisher I'd never heard of, but, could be great. Signed up for, and why is he giving away all that IP and stuff? Why is he doing that when he could own his own IP and, give it over to his kids? He'll make more money in the short and long run and all those things. And yet, what am I going to do? I called my favorite publisher last week, spoke to the owner directly, and said, I have a book for you. And he said, it's the most recent one I wrote, Terminal Moonlight. And he said, without even looking at it, when do you want me to schedule it? Or when should we? We can't schedule it now. It's too late for this year, but, we'll schedule it for the winter, early winter next year. That's the kind of pull I have now. No, it's just because we trust each other, and and I said it needs all it needs is a copy edit, and no dev edits. And he was the first one to say, at your stage, you no longer need dev edits. That made me feel pretty good. Okay, so why am I being hypocritical? Because here I am giving my rights away in a very nice contract. But here's my reasoning. As you know, first of all, I've always espoused myself as a hybrid author, meaning there's two meanings of hybrid authors. One meaning is not a good one. They say that a hybrid author is somebody who like pays to have their stuff published, which is vanity publishing, and that's not what I'm talking about. I that's bad. Yeah. That's not good. You don't do that stuff. My version of hybrid publishing is I publish traditionally and I publish independently. I have my company Bear Media, and that Bear Media puts out the majority of my work. And like I've said before, that's because I want to retain the majority of my IP. I want to make more money in the long run. I want my books to always be making money, all that sort of stuff. And in traditional world, it's not, doesn't happen so much. So then why do I bother with traditional at all? Because your independent books aren't going to get reviewed. Your independent books are not going to get the splashy response that they will if they're when they're published traditionally. And I have a list of books with Down and Out Publishing. I have like 12 books with them or something like that, maybe more. And bringing them a new full-length book once or twice a year will wake that list up and make me money every 6 months. It's a good idea. Plus you want to be in the game. You want to be in the traditional game. You don't want to be completely out of it, in my opinion. Some people are like, oh, I'll never go back. Like maybe Dean Wesley Smith might say, like, Vince, this is just a totally bonehead idea. Giving a book to a publisher in this day and age. It's 2024. It's not 1999 anymore. But I don't think so. I think it's still worth. I mean, I put out so much work that I'm still going to put out two books or a book and a novella a month anyway. So it doesn't really matter for me. If I were just like writing, say, 4 books a year, then giving a quarter of that production away would probably be a mistake. But for me, it's not. For me, it's absolutely not a mistake. In fact, I think it works in my favor. And also, finally, one of the pros of this is that I'll get more multimedia attention, and maybe finally, Moonlight will become a show on Netflix or something like that. Hope springs eternal, and it's a good one. And the interesting thing is, and I was telling the owner this, now that Terminal Moonlight is finished, it has to be read over again. I have to read it over again first before I hand it in and all that, and then I'll get a contract. I'm already like 6,000 words into a follow-up to it called Code Blue Moonlight. Now that one will be a Bear Media book because it'll be shorter. It'll be like 20,000 words, 25,000 words at most, maybe not even. And it's a fun read. It's just I finished the story in Terminal Moonlight, but then there's definitely, once you read it, you'll understand. There's definitely a little bit of a follow-up story that needs to go with it. So there you have it. So in a way, it's because I did that video last week. It's kind of like, why give away your IP? So now this one's going to be called Hypocritical Vince. It's not, even though I'm not really being a hypocrite. I'm actually being true to my word. I'm a hybrid author, and that's the way it's going to be throughout. I should probably throw on the. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to try to start comedy every day at 3:00 ish from now on, just like I used to, so I get comments and stuff like that. I've just been buried, absolutely buried, and this week's going to be another one of those buried weeks. Back to normal next week. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. Busy, busy, busy life. All right. I hope everybody's doing well, and were there any news things I wanted to? Yeah, not like a third assassination attempt on Trump. Is that true? Some dude was trying to sneak into his California event, which I guess garnered like 100,000 people or more, which I guess is a pretty, like a record crowd for that type of event anyway. And on the other side of the spectrum, Kamala Harris is going to interview with Bret Baier on Fox News. That's a good move for her. She's a teleprompter person though, so I don't know how that's going to go, but I give her credit for doing it. I'm interested. And Trump, on the other hand, is going to interview with Joe Rogan. So it's like dueling interviews. Going to be an interesting 2 weeks until the election. I personally believe it's going to be so close, so razor or ruler thin, that they're not going to find out who really won until December. You heard it here first. That's what I think. I think it's going to go because both sides will contest whoever wins, and the loyals will come out, make a shit ton of money, and we won't find out till, I predict, unless one side or the other just completely runs away with it, right? I think it's going to be so close that we won't find out who won until, wait for it, December 7th. All right, if it's December 7th, then everybody's got to send me $1. Actually, don't do that. I'm kidding. YouTube, I'm kidding. I don't think you can, that's legal to do something like that. Maybe you can think about reading one of my books. That's what you can do. All right, you guys, that's all I got before I get too silly. Hope all's well, and I will talk to you guys, if not tomorrow, then